this week's topic is trigger warnings. So, the thing about trigger warnings is they have a lot of connotations, and I had a rhinestone on my foot. Anyways, as a person of the theater world, we've recently been talking about adding trigger warnings to our shows here at the school. And me and one of my close friends, Tori, have been all for it. In fact, we are two of the people who really started the discussion. But our faculty doesn't really understand why that concept is necessary. One of my teachers says that trigger warnings ruin the show for him, as someone who doesn't need them. Whereas, already for shows, you'll have a warning for strobe lights or fog, because those are things that inhibit someone physically that people are more aware of. Well, my friend Tori, she personally wants it, and personally will put it on her own shows, because she's a playwright, because she knows that people can be affected mentally just as well as physically. And I personally need it because I don't want to have to worry about being triggered in the show and then have this horrible reaction to a show, and the only reason be because I didn't know that it was going to happen. I feel much more comfortable when I can go to a show knowing that something's going to happen, and knowing that I can feel safer in myself when I'm prepared for it, or choosing not to go when I'm prepared for that too. And yet my teachers say, oh no, they should push themselves to go. They should push themselves to see something. And the thing is, so I went and saw Casa Valentina recently, and it's about, obviously, sort of this safe place in the Catskills Mountains in the 1960s that people, or men, had to, straight men primarily, had to cross-dress. And there was a lot of talk about homophobia in a negative light, or homosexuals in a negative light, and there was a lot of talk about just cross-dressing using the word transvestite, and it made me uncomfortable, but I knew it was going to happen. So it's just there's that rub there where people were laughing at things that they thought were funny in the show that I knew had a little bit more emotional significance than most people would. And it's weird because that show was about that. That show was for that. And still people don't really get it. People don't, fully understand. It's just hard. And so, I feel like trigger warnings are almost a necessity, but people aren't there yet. You have warnings on films because people are worried about their children. You have warnings on games because people are worried about their children. But on the online world, it's not as regulated, and it's hard to be as regulated because it is this international thing. I'm wearing denim on denim, don't judge me. And it's just this weird in-between place where you don't know who should be there to tell you you can and can't do this. It's really difficult. The thing about theater is it could be regulated by a government, and it just isn't. Personal theaters choose not to let in children under 4 and say, oh, we advise not to bring in a kid under the age of 12, but they don't tell you why. They don't tell you, oh, there's going to be nudity. oh, there's gonna be this, there's gonna be that. So it's just like, I can't sometimes. I just can't. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week.